what is the most beautiful experience you had? For what kind of people it has helped the most?
Farmers mainly, whenever I give weather forecast, they plan their works accordingly and they get their good yield for their product. So many farmers reach out to me. We would have gone into a deeper losses if we ignored your alerts.
We have our phones and it usually shows that it's going to rain. Do you think they are not as accurate as people think?
Weather is very dynamic in nature. So it changes very rapidly in within seconds or within minutes. They give the forecast, but they only give the generalized forecast.
Tell me a little bit more about the global warming and the climate change that's happening.
It's a worrying thing that we are having right now, and the climate change is something like is a kind of consequence of global warming.
There are rumors that IMD is not giving access to the radars.
So that's something controversial issue. I don't want to speak too much about it.
Which weather in the past has hit you the most?
It's the October 13, 2020 flooding rainfall event that has ripped Hyderabad apart.
All right. Welcome, Telangana Weatherman, aka T. Balaji. Thank you so much for coming to Layers of Life podcast.
Yeah, feels great, ma'am.
I mean, I came across you 3 to 4 years ago, and it was only because my friends used to say that, hey, today I'm not going to come out because this Telangana Weatherman posted that today it's going to rain. I'm like, who is this? Why are you guys like talking about him? And whenever we used to meet, at least once people used to talk about you. And then I think last 3-4 months ago, she took my phone and she was like, you know what, just subscribe to the Instagram and just follow for 1 month and see if you like it. And when I started following you, and I'm like, okay, today it's going to rain. And I'm like, oh, it's actually raining or it's sunny. I was like, oh my God. Plus the witty messages that you send. Hyderabad today is, it's unlucky day because it's going to be sunny. And people are laughing at those posts. And I'm like, wow. So tell me, how did you get started like analyzing all of these things?
Yeah, so all this journey, the seed has been started since childhood. So it was when I am 5 years old. So it was a heavy downpour at that time. It was a hailstorm. So it was completely like hails to falling down. It's a complete summer day. So it was like 40 degrees heat that time. It's kind of sweltering heat. But at the evening, it completely became dark and it was like pouring heavily with strong gusty winds and also with hails. So that is a time when I just like wondered where this water is coming from. Is this generally we see water from our taps, from our laundry and all. But I was like wondering, really water falls from the sky also. So that's where the interest got deeply rooted in me, and from then over the years, whenever it rains, I just go to the balcony, stare at the sky, and see the clouds every time. Whenever it rains, okay, how beautiful it is, how the clouds are moving and how the winds are blowing, what type of clouds it is, what is the tone of the sky color that's happening.
Oh my
So
God.
these all really made me feel interesting about how the rains will happen. So in this process, it's my 10th class. It's my 9th and 10th upper school, high school. So there's a time when in our social studies we had one chapter called as, in 9th class we had something like atmosphere one chapter.
Yeah, atmospheric spheres, something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in 10th class we had weather and climate of India. So those two chapters I got I left most of the chapters in social studies, but those two chapters, I was like really perfect in it. Like in school on September 5th, students used to act as a teacher's day.
Correct.
So as a teacher, so I took social studies subject and I explained the chapter in front of the students. So that is something, that is a passion that really had me in tracking the rains and watching the weather, watching the sky and all. So thereafter, the main turn happened whenever it's on 2020. So that was a year where we had a lot of COVID pandemic, and it's kind of lockdown everywhere. So I was like literally stuck at the home because people are not allowed to roam outside.
Correct.
So that was a time, and also not to forget, we got a lot of rains in 2020. Not to forget,
Correct.
from June to September, and also in the October month. So I had a lot of free time. Of course, it's my intermediate, and there is a lot of pressure on me while preparing for JE and all.
Why? Why did you pick engineering when your interest
Yeah,
lied?
because it was a time when I didn't even start my Twitter handle. So that is the thing when my parents were worried about, like, because it was a time when engineering was booming, and
Okay.
especially joining in a premier institute and cracking a premier exam seems like parents used to feel proud about it. So that's the thing. Like as of now, like I was interested in weather, but I looked it as a passion. So that's the reason why I uh, prepared well for the JE. And though I had a lot of pressure during those times, I never forget to go to the balcony whenever it rains. So that's a time when I started my Twitter handle in 2020 October, and that was the time there is a huge downpour, flooding rains in the city on October 13, 2020, and that was a time when my followers started increasing step by step, step by step. People started following me for the forecast I give, and in the next years like 2021, 22, 23, and 24 till now 25, I gave regular updates to the people of Telangana and also for the Hyderabad region, and most of them went right. Of course, one or two went wrong, but most of them went right, and people started following me, and this journey is being continuing.
And you're going to continue this forever.
Yes.
And this is not never going to be your profession, or it could.
Maybe I'm not saying that completely no for it, but in future, if there is a chance, then I may be switching and all. But civil engineering is something like I have pursued in my last 4 years in during my BTech, and that's something I really love about it. Apart from the, of course, weather is something like I love the most, but civil engineering is also the thing which I love a lot. So the as of now, I would like to pursue as a profession in my civil engineering. And yes, weather and climate and this social media and blogs and all, I need to see like how well it will be going on in the coming years and all. Yeah.
So how does your day look like? Like, do you just sit outside and just stare the sky, or what do you do? Like, because I know we receive your updates, I think 10 times a day easily. So what do you do? How do you kind of analyze everything? Give us a little walkthrough.
Yeah. So earlier during my 2020 days, I used to mostly follow the just go to the balcony and
Okay.
look at the sky, like how the clouds are forming, what is the tone of the sky that you are having, what is the real field temperatures what is the real field conditions, like is it humid or is it dry heat. So that's something like farmers generally use it to do, right? We have like in Telugu, we say it as a padunu. So that is some technology that farmers do adopt to predict the rains in a
Okay.
traditional manner. So
What happens? I don't know. Can you tell me more?
yeah, generally farmers go to the field and they look at the sky, something like sun or like this.
Okay.
And they will understand like, okay, this is what conditions are right now, and maybe there is a chance for the rain. So I was like really inspired about it, like with apart keeping aside the global models and the scientific analysis right now. I just looked at the sky like traditional way, like how the clouds are forming and how the conditions are changing according to the time that we are having. So during my initial days, I really focused on that.
Okay.
And later on, when I met with my colleagues, like my not to say the colleagues, my friends.
Okay.
So like Rajini Weather and also Weather Brother and also Sriman sir. So the 3 to 4 people I have met. I met with some amazing Twitter community during the 2020. So that was the time when my guru Rajni sir has been very much encouraging me to understand, to make me understand the weather, how the climatic patterns and the weather patterns evolve over the days, and how the monsoon patterns and evolve. And with that interest and with that push, I was like really interested and was like really motivated to learn more and more about like weather patterns. And also in this process, I started reading the weather articles and research papers. So this is something overall brief outline, like how I gain the weather knowledge and how I acquire the talent of predicting the weather, and coming like how a day unfolds for me. So in the morning, generally, as in regular practice, I go outside and look at the sky, look at the clouds and all, look at the winds, how it's blowing, and look at the real time conditions, how it's evolving. And based on that, I come to a preliminary understanding like, okay, there is something like background dynamics is unfolding. So there is a chance of some rain later on in the day. So it's some basic preliminary understanding that I use it to get whenever I look at the sky. And coming to the scientific model analysis, I really gained a lot of knowledge based on the weather articles and all in the scientific model analysis. So that's something I got deeply rooted in it. Like for last 5 years, I started tracking weather models. Like we have global weather models, supercomputer models like GFS, CCMWF, and GEM and Access G, and also JMA, ARPG. So these are wide varieties of global weather models. So they release various weather parameters like temperature, humidity, and wind pressure and wind convergence, and also the cape index, K index, swell index. So this is something like so many parameters they show it in the form of maps, and I study those maps like how the winds are getting converged, and what is the synoptic parameter, what is the synoptic system that is present over the region. So based on that, I the whatever the preliminary understanding that I got from the ground based analysis, I use it to confirm it. I use it to cross check and re-verify whether it's being shown in the weather models or whether it's being showing in the parameters or not. And by merging those two conditions, by merging those two analysis, I prepare my own analysis and post it on Twitter and also the other social media handles. And also not to forget, whenever I get the update, whenever I analyze, and whenever I get into a confirmation that yes, it's going to be raining, or yes, these areas are going to be having heavy rain, I just post on Instagram or I just post it in Twitter, because we don't we shouldn't have the time lag, because if it's something like, if I get some confirmation, and if it's something like 15 to 20 minutes delay, and then if I post it, then there is no use, because already at that time it rains.
But tell me something. We have iPhones, right? We have our phones, and it usually shows that it's going to rain and all of it. So, do you think they are not as accurate as people think, or why do you think that you need to instantly send it, and we can't like just because see it on our phones? Are they not like a 100% apt or?
Yeah, so what's the major problem with the weather apps and
Yes.
the weather iPhone and all is that, so they give the forecast, but they only give the generalized forecast. For example, if you all know the weather is very dynamic in nature, so it changes very rapidly in within seconds or within minutes. So that is a thing that our human intelligence only will be capable of. Weather apps and all, they give generalized forecasts. Their servers are located somewhere else, and understanding this the sudden change in the conditions and analyzing it and keeping in their portal is something like very time taking task. So that's the where the communication gap forms, and that's the thing like weather apps usually fails in the predicting the rains and all during the major weather events. So that's the reason they generally give the generalized forecast, like it's going to be 50% chance of rain,
Okay.
40% chance of
Okay.
rain, but they don't say like, okay, during this time and this time there will be heavy rain, there will be scattered rain, these areas will be getting rain. So they don't give the micro level based forecasting system. They don't adopt it. They just use a generalized forecast, and that's the point where they lag behind, and that's the thing where human intelligence come into the picture, and that's the point where I have took the advantage over it. And social media is a tool where information gets rapidly spread over. True. So there's I felt that's the right platform to use it, and whenever I give an update, just one notification comes into their say a mobile, like Twitter notification, Instagram notification, and they just get the information instantaneously.
And according to you, what are the biggest blind spots that the Indian cities are avoiding when they kind of give this forecast? Are there any blind spots you think Arey, this is not how you give it? Because there are news channels out there, they're like weather reporting and all of it. Do you think are there any blind spots that they are missing?
The biggest blind spot is communication gap. So whenever they get the information, to process the information, to make the ratings and to post it on something TV channel, it takes lot of time. Of course, if it won't take lot of time, it will be a better. But sometimes what I feel is that news channels won't hire meteorologists. Like in recently, last year, July 2024, we have went to US regarding International Visitors Leadership Program. So in that program, we effectively studied about the weather and climate change, and also how to spread the information to the local people and the local authorities. So in that, there are various news channels, and each news channel used to have a meteorologist. But what happens in India is that there are news channels, but they have only journalists. Journalists use it to go to IMD. They pick up the information. They do some kind of random 5 minutes or 10 minutes interview, like keep the mic over here, what's going to be weather in next 3 days. So there's something like that they will be doing, and thereafter the video clip will be coming to the office. They do the editing and all the stuff, and after some time they will be posting on the news channel and broadcast media. And after posting the broadcast media, and it takes some time to gain the views, and it takes some time to reach to the people. And in this process, in this time gap, the huge downpour will be done and the damage is going to be happen. So this is something, effective communication gap is a problem that most of the Indian media and also more Indian society is facing. So that's the reason why we really took a step to avoid the time gap, and we choose social media as a platform so that we can get instantaneous updates to the people, so that people can easily follow us. So that's something that. Yeah.
And there are rumors that IMD is not kind of giving access to the radars. Is it true? Like, or what is it?
Yeah, so that's something controversial issue. I don't want to speak too much about it.
Okay.
But something IMD is doing is that recently we have seen war over the India's Pakistan. So they are saying, like, what IMD is saying is that we are restricting some of the products, some of the access.
Before you explain this, can you tell what is IMD and give us a little bit for people who don't know what is IMD? Can you give a little bit of information?
So IMD is one department, the prime department, which tracks the weather and gives the weather bulletin. So it's an official weather agency that we have in India.
Okay.
So Indian Meteorological Department is a full form of IMD. So they give weather bulletins, they give daily weather bulletins, they give weekly weather bulletins, they give external range forecasts, and they give agro-based weather advisory to the farmers, and also they give hydromet division. They forecast the flood inflows and all. So this is the division, various divisions that we have. This is the overall thing that what IMD does.
Okay.
So IMD has a lot of technological aspects, like they have radars, they have satellite images. They collaborate with multiple other agencies in India like ISRO, and also not to forget, they collaborate with other international agencies like NASA, and also like NWS, NOAA.
Why?
Yeah, because collaboration is something it's very important to exchange your information, and also to understand like how accurate, how effectively we can share the information. So maybe that could be a point where IMD has collaborated with multiple agencies. So keeping that aside, so this is what overall IMD does.
Fair.
So IMD has various technological equipment like radars, and also they have satellite images, they have monitoring stations. So that costs like crores of rupees, and it's all publicly funded because it's all government money, and it's all our own paid taxes that we give to the government. It's all about the public infrastructure that we have. So coming to the access that IMD is restricting. So IMD has said that due to the India vs Pakistan war situation and tensions that we are having right now, so they have blocked access to the few of the products and also few of the websites, so that to avoid the cyber security concerns and cyber attacks on the IMD. So what I feel is that IMD should have restricted to a particular geographical location, because restricting like everywhere is something like not giving services to the people also. So of course, yes, we don't follow the IMDs. No, I'm repeating it again, because IMD products is something like we don't get much information about it. Of course, few people may understand, few people may get information about it, but completely we don't get information from the IMD. So this is the where we choose the international weather agencies, international sites that we already mentioned, like GFA, CCMWF, and all. So this is something like we follow the NOVA, we follow the NWS, and we follow the European Meteorological Department, like and also we follow the Thai Meteorological Department. So and also we follow the Bureau of Meteorology Australia. So they give good forecast, they give good access to the products that we have. And IMD is something like they are restricting the access. So that is something it's a concern. Of course, there is a cyber security, cyber attacks and all. Maybe it's a kind of precautionary issue, they would have done it. But the thing is that they can restrict to a particular geographical location. If they restrict to a particular geographical location like India, there wouldn't have been any big problem at all, because Indian people has to benefit by the services that we get it by our own paid tax money. So that is something like, if they restrict the access in our own location, then what's the point of it? So that is something I don't want to get into deeper in it. So because it's a big controversial issue.
Fair.
Yeah, this is something like overall view that I shared through your podcast.
So, what do you think? Like in this entire world, which country gives the best weather report according to you? The government does a fantastic job. As you said, there's no communication gap. Everything is instant, and it is, very accurate, like as accurate as it can be. So, can you pick any country?
I don't speak any specific country, because their own country, the weather conditions are completely different, and the weather patterns are completely different. And not to forget, India is a country, we are completely like tropical weather dynamics. So it's a very unpredictable. Tropical weather dynamics are always unpredictable, and it's always like very difficult to predict in well advance. Whereas if we see some advanced nations like USA, and also we have England and UK, and we have Australia, there the weather is very much predictable. Like we can predict it, say, before like 5 to 6 days itself, we can come into a conclusion, because the weather itself is very predictable over there.
Fair.
It's not about the equipment and all over there. Of course, they are having very advanced equipment, and even our government is not lagging behind. Even their government has a well advanced equipment. And the problem is that our Indian weather dynamics is very much difficult to track. I have recently gone to the IVLP program that I already mentioned to you in the US. So they have also mentioned that Indian weather tracking is very difficult. And not to Indian weather tracking is difficult. Coastal weather tracking is even difficult. So like we have AP coast, like we have Kerala coast, like we have Tamil Nadu coast. The weather is extremely difficult over there to track.
Why?
Yes, because of the tropical weather dynamics extend up to very high altitudes. Like whenever a huge thunderstorm forms, it extends up to stratosphere,
Okay.
above the troposphere levels. So that is something which makes climate very unstable. So tropical weather consists of a lot of heat. So whenever there is a lot of heat, the instability is common. Let us take an example of pressure cooker. If we keep on increasing the heat and all, how much it can bear? Once at some particular point it gets blast. So that is something like Indian weather is very difficult to predict. Even prime nations like US and also UK have agreed to that. Even their models go very much. I'm saying, like, even the predictions given by USA, even predictions given by UK, like GFS and ECMWF, they go 60% wrong in our area. So that is the reason that I have already said, the ground-based analysis, and also the human intelligence, and also the perception that we have on our local climate is something like very much playing an important role in predictions and all. And also the social media, the effective tool to spread the information. So this is all some permutations and combinations that involve in giving the weather forecast. And that's the reason why I say no country is 100% accurate, because even USA give their daily bulletins. I watch their bulletins. They said something like La Nina will be developing by end of the June or July. It won't happens. It gets delayed or it gets preponed. So I say the weather over there is predictable. They have the equipment, and the thing that I like is that the foreign media, because every foreign media news channel acquires a hire a meteorologist. So in our local media, sadly, you hardly find any local meteorologist in media. So that is something like foreign countries have a better advantage, a better edge than us.
So, the weather forecast that whatever you do, what is the most beautiful experience you had? For what kind of people it has helped the most?
Yeah. So there are so many instances of it. There are so many people from rural areas and also from the urban areas who thanked me a lot by giving the weather updates, by giving the regular weather alerts and all. So coming to the rural areas, farmers mainly, they really feel happy because whenever I give weather forecast, they plan their works accordingly, and they get their good yield for their product, for their agricultural produce. So that's something they got beneficial over it, and that's something makes me happy. Because we say Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan.
Yeah.
So Kisan is something who feed us.
Correct.
So making them happy is what that feels me like really happy for me. So that's something so many farmers reach out to me. They say thank you. We have saved our crop. We have done our harvesting long back based upon your alerts, and now it's continuously raining. We would have gone into a deeper losses if we ignored your alerts. So that's something farmers feel very much happy about the updates that I give. And coming to the urban areas, two things. One thing is that people thank me that my clothes aren't wet outside. Then the second thing is that I safely reached home, avoiding avoiding getting wet in the rain. So these are the two things that urban people thank me a lot in their to plan their works accordingly. So yeah, I really feel happy about the comments that people do post in my social media handles.
So, with great power comes great responsibility. So, I am very sure that must have been times where there were criticism as well when it didn't hit the bullseye. How was that like? How do you take that kind of criticism?
Yeah, because social media is one thing where we face a lot of criticism. Because whenever we do some good work, people keep on poking, people keep on putting the hateful comments and all, like dragging someone feet. So that's something we shouldn't we should ignore it, because we are doing our good work. There are a lot of people who get benefited from our forecast and all. We are not doing a bad thing, and it's helping so many people. So why should we worry about the criticism and all? As of course, weather is something like it's kind of very much dynamic and it's sometimes unpredictable. So whenever one or two forecasts have went wrong, I'm not saying that I'm 100% accurate. Yes, I'm few instances, one or two forecasts have went wrong, and I face a few heated criticisms during those times. And there's a time when you need to understand why the forecast has went wrong, and you need to understand what went wrong with the forecast, what wrong analysis that I have done that caused this wrong forecast, and you shouldn't commit those mistakes in the near future. So that's what I feel, is that whenever a forecast goes wrong, I look it as an experience, and I look it as a kind of thing that I should learn, so that I shouldn't commit the mistake again in the future. So that's how I keep on make me as a learner. And that's the thing, I really be encouraging about it, and I really feel motivating about it, keep on learning and keep on I try to understand how the weather things and unfold. Because last 5 years I have tracked the weather, and no single day, no single year is exactly similar to what we have seen earlier. So that is the thing, we have so many facets of the weather that we have.
This brings me to my next question. Tell me a little bit more about the global warming and the climate change that's happening. the rainy season has come so early,
Yes.
this year. And like, give us a little insights on these things. Why is it happening? And
Yes. So global warming is something like it's a global worrying thing that we are having right now, and the climate change is something like is a kind of consequence of global warming. So yes, everywhere the temperatures are increasing, and we are seeing like harsher summers. Of course, this year is not a harsh summer, but the thing is that overall global weather parameters, weather patterns are changing. So this is causing a climatic change, and this is also causing a sea level rise, and also this is causing lot of instability in the atmosphere, because whenever I have already mentioned, whenever a temperature rises, there is a kind of instability over the atmosphere. So due to global warming, all over the globe the temperatures are increasing, and all over the globe the instability is increasing, and all over the globe the extreme weather events are increasing. So that's the reason why we are getting extreme rains over just within short period of time. We are getting unprolonged heat waves over some part of the world. We are getting prolonged rains over some part of the world. We are getting prolonged droughts over some part of the world. So this is something like a big issue that we need to address, and many nations have to be like put in hands by hands to reduce the emissions, carbon emissions, and to reduce the pollution, and also to reduce the effects of the greenhouse gases. But unfortunately, what I feel is that in this era where economic growth is very much important, most of the nations are ignoring the global warming and also the greenhouse emissions. So that is something like it's not in our hands, because it's a kind of society where we are living like he's not doing, so I am also not going to do. So that's the biggest problem that we are having, because that's the reason why we should be prepared for the effects of the global warming, because this is something like never ending problem. We need to find solutions for it. Of course, solution is something like it's going to be long term, and short term results cannot be obtained anytime soon. So we need to be prepared for the adverse effect of the global warming. Damage is already done. We need to cure it. That's it. We can't prevent it right now, because it's a kind of global nations has to be coming in front of it. But it's the kind of thing global nations are not even interested about it. Like we have seen, US Donald J. Trump has laid off so many people from the meteorology department and this and all. So that's something like it's not going to be happened anytime soon. So prevention, the thing is gone. So now the only option is having is a cure. So the cure is something like we need to be having advanced weather alerts, so that we can avoid the risk from the extreme weather events that we are having right now, so that we can plan our works accordingly, so that we can reduce the property damage and also the agricultural damage to a very low extent, so that we can save our products, we can save our property and all. So that yeah, we need to be save ourselves, our lives and all from the impact of the global warming that we are having right now.
do you think Telangana has also changed a little from the moment you started in 2020 and now? Do you see a lot of differences in terms of prolonged rains or prolonged heat waves?
Yes. So before 2020, we used to have less rains. Not to forget, during 2014 to 2019, we had series of droughts. So that's the thing where we face a lot of water crisis and also like water scarcity. And what happened after 2019 is that there is a strong positive Indian Ocean dipole that has developed during 2019 August and September. So that's what has kick-started the prolonged rainfall event. So in 2019, we had extremely heavy rains in September and October, and not and even some days of November also. So that's the point where the extreme rainfall event has started. And in 2020 till 2022, we had series of La Nina events. So La Nina and El Nino is coupled known as ENSO. El Nino is Southern Oscillation. So La Nina is something like Eastern Pacific. Eastern Pacific is getting cool. Western Pacific is getting warm. So due to the warm waters in the Western Pacific, lot of systems, lot of low pressure areas get developed into the Western Pacific, and they get drifted into the Bay of Bengal. So that is the reason why there are so many disturbances, so many systems forming in the Bay of Bengal, and that has caused a lot of rains, lot of monsoon systems, lot of monsoon downpours during the years of 2020, 21, and 22. So these 3 years we had lot of rains, lot of flooding, rainfall events, and yeah, the La Nina is one major thing that I would like to attribute to the prolonged rains that we are having, and also the cooler summers, because La Nina is something like we generally face less summer heat during the summer season.
Okay.
And also not to forget, global warming is also fueling up these events, because La Nina generally we get good rains, but we are getting extreme rains, we are getting record breaking rains. So that is fueled by the global warming effect and also the temperature rise effects. So that is something like we are having since last years. The rainfall has increased, the monsoon downpours have increased, and the summer rainfall has increased, the summer intensity has decreased, and winter intensity has decreased. Early summer heat is setting up because Hyderabad is a place where the summer generally sets by end of February or during March, mid March. But we are seeing early summer heat in February first week itself. So that's the impact of global warming and the climate change that we are having. So early summer exit. So recently we are seeing early monsoon.
Yes.
So that is something like. Of course, is coupled by another parameter called as MJO and also the Somalian jet that we are having. MJO is something like Madden-Julian oscillation. So it's a 30 to 60 day rainy wave that moves all around the equatorial globe. That means 10 north to 10 south latitude.
Okay.
So this is one major teleconnection that moves all over the globe, and it brings significant changes in the rainfall parameters and also the temperatures and all. So this year we had early MJO entry into our Indian Ocean basin. So that's the reason why we had twin systems in the Bay of Bengal. Twin systems in Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal.
What is twin system?
Like both system, one system, and in Bay of Bengal, one system in Arabian Sea. The both occurring in the same time.
Okay.
And it's not a cyclone system, but not a cyclone.
Okay.
So due to the combined effect of those two systems, we had lot of rains during the May month, and especially during the.
So is this also La Nina this year as well?
This year is not a La Nina. It's a kind of ENSO neutral. That means it's neither La Nina nor El Nino. So it's a kind
What
of.
is El Nino? You explained as La Nina. What is El Nino?
El Nino is completely reverse of La Nina. So El Nino is nothing but Western Pacific is getting cool, Eastern Pacific is getting warm. So that's the reason which causes a reduction in the intensity of the trade winds. Trade winds is something which blows from east to west in the tropical region. But whenever we have El Nino, the trade winds gets weakened, the monsoon winds gets weakened, and the rainfall gets weakened. So we generally see drought during the El Nino events. So like example, of course, 2023 is an El Nino event, but we haven't seen drought due to one extreme rainfall event that we had in July. Thankfully, other states have witnessed a drought during that year. So our Telangana has managed to get one good rainfall event in the month of July 2023. So we crossed the drought event it's a kind of miracle. And also not to forget, again, global warming is something like that impacted a lot on the rainfall events that we had. So yeah, this is something like we are having right now, El Nino, La Nina, and also the global warming.
So why the rain in the northeast regions like Bihar, Meghalaya, they have the rains have decreased, but deserted regions like Gujarat and all, it has increased. Yes. Why is that?
So this is one hot climate discussion that we should be doing. The research is going on it. So what's happening is that the ITCZ, the main driver of the monsoon, the intertropical convergence zone. So that is something we call it as monsoon trough. So what happens is that monsoon trough generally stays in the central India, and generally it oscillates north and south. So it causes a lot of rains over the monsoon core regions. So monsoon core region is a region where it usually rains a lot in the monsoon. Like we have Western Ghats and also into the central and northern India. Like we have Vidarbha, we have Chhattisgarh, we have Odisha, we have Madhya Pradesh, we have Jharkhand, we have East UP, and we have Bihar, and we have West Bengal. So these are the states that fall under the core monsoon zone. And also not to forget some parts of North Telangana also.
Okay.
So this core monsoon zone gets lot of rainfall in association with the monsoon trough movement. What happening is that the monsoon trough, the regular position of the monsoon trough is getting down. That means it's getting into a lower latitudes. That means monsoon trough generally locates around Madhya Pradesh, and also some parts of Jharkhand.
Okay.
But what happening is that the monsoon trough is now moving a bit down. That is towards Vidarbha and Chhattisgarh. So that's the point where the entire monsoon core rainfall is shifting southward. That means it has to be limiting towards Vidarbha region. That's it. But it's even further shifting down. That means the monsoon core heavy rainfall is now shifting towards Telangana region. That's the reason why we're witnessing a lot of rains over the last few years, and also towards the western parts of India. That is the Gujarat, Rajasthan, and also the western Madhya Pradesh and some parts of Marathwada and all. So these areas we are witnessing increase in rainfall due to the shift in the IT season or the monsoon trough. It's a shifting southward, and most of the systems are moving towards the western India rather than the northern parts of India. So generally what happens is that a system forms in the bay, it crosses Odisha, it crosses Chhattisgarh, it enters into the Madhya Pradesh, and it moves into the East UP and Bihar. But what's happening right now is that the systems are not moving in this direction. It's moving into the westerly direction. That means it is heading towards Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat. Instead of going towards UP, instead of going towards Bihar, that is towards the monsoon trough region, due to the southerly shift of the monsoon ITCZ, that's the reason why it is moving into a more westerly pattern, that is towards Gujarat, Rajasthan, and West Madhya Pradesh. So that's the reason why lot of rainfall has been increased over the desert area of the Rajasthan, and subsequently significant reduction in the rainfall is observed over the Bihar and the West Bengal and Odisha and also the East UP and also Northeast states.
But which weather in the past has hit you the most? Like, you're like, oh my God, what is this sort of?
Yes, so it was my starting days of blogging. So 100% it's the October 13, 2020 flooding rainfall event that has ripped Hyderabad apart. So it was like it's just a 6 hours downpour. So it was like October 13th during the afternoon hours, we had like clear confirmation that okay, Hyderabad is going to be having one of the rarest flood event. So we gave warnings to the people, and
How did you figure that out? That
yes, because I carried a lot of analysis on the maps that the global weather models have showed. So it has showed like monsoon trough that I already mentioned earlier. That is, it's October month, right? So October month is the time when the monsoon trough gradually shifts down. Is the time when monsoon generally retreats from India.
Correct.
So from the that was a time when the monsoon trough was in the southern part of India. That is on the Telangana region.
Okay.
So at that time, it's a La Nina that I already mentioned. And during the La Nina years, what happens is that most of the systems from the Western Pacific enters into the Bay of Bengal. So what happened that day is that the system, in a similar fashion, entered into the Bay of Bengal. It converted into a depression and later into a deep depression. So that has completely moved straight into the Telangana region. Then that what has caused immense rainfall. Like the parts of Telangana had like 320 of rainfall, and parts of Hyderabad had 300 to like 250 to 300 of rainfall in just 6 to 7 hours. So from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. So it was a core hotspot region, hotspot duration for the significant rainfall event. So thanks to COVID, that time people were mostly locked at the homes. If it was not COVID that time, the death toll has been like seriously bad. Even those days, like around 50 people, around 50 to 70 people were being killed and washed away due to various flood events on that day. And even during the COVID time, this has happened. Imagine what would have happened if it's not a COVID. It was and there were no prior warnings, because it was my starting days of blogging. There were not so many followers for me. So around odd 150 to 200 followers that I was having. So the information was not being spread to the people. That's the reason why most of the people were seriously affected due to the flood event on that day. So that's something really like, I'm not saying it is a memory, because it's a kind of bad day for Hyderabad. But yes, as per the meteorological event, that is like very significant and it's a historic and record breaking. And that's a weather event that like OMG that you have already mentioned.
As everybody, everybody obviously waits for your everyday updates, daily updates, but I'm very lucky to directly ask you, how is this monsoon season going to be like?
Yes, so we had early monsoons in the May last week. So
Yes.
that is something like it's going to be impacting onto the June first half. So June first week and second week going to be almost like dry kind of thing. It won't be completely dry because monsoon has already set in though. So there will be some isolated scatter rains here and there overall. But the thing is that there will be some less rains in the June first half. But later on, from June second half, that is from June 15th or 14th, 15th duration, a new pulse of MJO is coming and a new pulse of MISO, that is a monsoon interseasonal oscillation, is spreading into the parts of India. So we can expect increase in rainfall activities, increasing again good rains during the June second half. And yes, July and August will be generally good. July and August will be good. Mainly, we may not be seeing extreme flood events like what we have seen earlier in 2020, like 2022, because it's because it's not a La Nina event. It's a kind of ENSO neutral. So neutral conditions means we don't expect like too much rains.
Okay.
Of course, there will be good rains. Of course, there will be good monsoon because of the global warming. And
But it won't extend.
it won't be like I may not say that it won't extend.
Okay.
But regarding the rainfall, it will be like above normal.
Okay.
But not excellent excess. You don't expect.
Okay.
It will be good. It will be above normal, but you don't expect like too much floods and all.
Okay.
It will be marginal floods over some areas, but keeping in view of the climate change, there can be sudden cloudbursts over few areas, so that can bring some flash flooding in few areas also.
Okay. And why does this hailstorm, all these things happen? Like, it has been a long time since it happened again in Hyderabad.
So what the main ingredients of the hailstorm is that two things. One is the directional shear that we have, and the second thing is the rapid gradient in the temperature. That means surface level temperature is something like 30-40 degrees, and going upwards there is steep drop in the temperatures. That means minus degree Celsius within just 2 to 3 kilometers upward.
Okay.
So that what brings the hailstorms. So at the time, whenever a thunderstorm forms, there is a lot of ice over the upper levels and the mid level of the atmosphere. So whenever it rains, the heavy particles of the ice just falls down and they don't get melted due to the rapid gradient in the temperature and the cool temperature over the upper level atmosphere. So that's the reason why we get lot of hailstorm. That is one of the reason. The second reason is that the directional shear. That means, for example, if we take upper levels, the winds going to be very high.
Correct.
And coming to the medium levels, it will be a bit medium.
Yeah.
And coming to the low, it will be even low.
Yeah.
And whenever from low level to upper level, if the winds are unidirectional, that means even in upper level winds, it will be in this direction. Middle level winds in this direction, lower level winds in this direction. Of course, there can be a change in the intensity of the winds, but the direction of the winds has to be same. So that what brings a beautiful thunderstorm. That what develops a strong thunderstorm, and also the temperature gradients bring down the hails. So these are the two main factors that causes lot of hailstorms, and this generally you see due to the association of the frontal systems. That means in USA and also the mid latitudes, the temperate regions that we have, generally these areas witness these kind of hailstorms. Of course, even in India we witness hailstorms during the summer months. And yeah, in this process, we had seen a lot of hailstorms in Telangana too during the May first week duration.
Why are there no tornadoes in India?
Tornadoes, there are no, it's not correct that there are no tornadoes.
Okay.
There were instances of tornadoes in India too. Like, let me give some examples. 2023 Michong cyclone, which crossed the Tamil Nadu coast, which spun a tornado in Rajahmundry, that side, coastal AP, Yanam. So during 2023 December, it spun a tornado. And even in Telangana, we had a few instances like last year when we had the extreme rainfall event in August 31 and September 1. That is a severe rainfall event that happened due to the depression. So that has also spun a tornado in Mulugu region. So that caused a lot of wide scale of devastation in the vegetation over the forest of the Mulugu. So tornadoes are occurring, but it's not frequent like what we see generally in the US and all.
Yeah.
Because tornadoes require lot of extreme weather parameters, like lot of frontal systems. But in tropical conditions where it's kind of completely monsoon, we don't get unidirectional shear that I already mentioned earlier. So that's the reason why we don't see severe tornadoes. Of course, not to forget our southern India and also the central India has lot of hills and lot of rugged terrain features. So that's the another reason why it won't effectively helps in the formation of the tornado, because in US we have a lot of plain area. So in the plains of, because I have gone to the US, like states called Colorado and also the Oklahoma, where they have a lot of tornadoes. I have seen the landscape over there. So that landscape is completely a plain area. So plain area do witness tornadoes because there is no disturbance for the circulating air.
Okay.
Whenever there is a rugged features, it instantly stops the circulating air. Of course, Mulugu is one region we have seen tornado because due to the depression. Rare cases we see tornadoes and water spouts too. It's not we can't rule out what tornadoes. It can happen, but very rare. It can happen definitely. We can regularly see tornadoes in northern parts of India, like Punjab and Haryana. We regularly see tornadoes. And coming to the eastern parts of India, like West Bengal and Bihar, and also the Jharkhand, and also some parts of Odisha, these areas are also prone to tornadoes because of the Kal Baisakhi. I think you can know about it. Kal Baisakhi, northwester winds. So that cause lot of tornadoes, lot of hailstorms, and lot of bow echoes, we call it as. So it's sometimes we can see tornadoes in India also, and also in Telangana we can't rule it out.
I have just last one question.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, two. Number one, do you think AI is going to affect, helping you like optimize the forecasting or no?
AI is something like I've already mentioned long back that human intelligence is something very much important to
Yes.
understand the dynamic weather change.
Correct.
So I will share some funny events regarding that. So Grok, right? So
Yes.
Grok is something like people keep on commenting like, Grok, is this true? Grok, please verify it.
Correct.
Even a few people have posted in my Twitter handle as a comment. So Grok said that it will be raining, but it didn't rain, because even that follows the background weather dynamics. That is a generalized forecast, like what all apps and all do. And even they say that you follow the local people, you follow the IMD. So even that says the like that, but it won't be saying surely that it will be raining, like it will be 100% rain. They will say that it's a chance of the rain. So that's it. So even you can like attribute it as a weather apps only, because AI is something it generally takes inputs from the training and testing data that we have in the machine learning. So even that has something like generalized forecast, and that's the point where human intelligence come into the picture. That is very important, because weather is something you can't get good accuracy without human intervention. That is very much important. Human intervention is must, and it's very essential.
And do you think all the school-going students should also get some sort of weather knowledge, like,
Yes, there is a basic education in India, because even in my schooling days, I really fell in love with the chapter called as atmosphere and also weather and climate in my 9th and 10th standards. There is a kind of a good basic weather, basic meteorology that is being taught in the schools. But the thing is that many students feel it as a boring, because students read it as a kind of marks sake, like for the grades. They just read for just 2 days before or one day before. They just mug up some concepts. They just get into the exam. They just write something and they just get passed, and then they forget everything. So that's the problem that is arising, because interest is something that cannot be being brought into kind of forcefully.
True.
So it should come like they should they should teach in a kind of practical way. Like for example, like what I do, like I see the clouds. Okay, these are the cumulonimbus clouds. This is developing something. So this is something. This is how you predict the weather. So if that is something which is taught in the schools and taught in the kind of education curriculum, I think people will definitely develop it as an interest, develop it as a passion, and there will be more weathermen, there will be more blogging community, and this gets vast enough.
Hmm. And what's your dream with your passion? What's your goal? Like, what do you want to keep doing this for the rest of your life? Do you have like, Heidi, I want to reach this sort of number on social media, or I want to start covering different states? Like, what is your dream?
Uh, my dream is as of now to continue to give weather alerts to the people, like to my own how much I can give my own capacity and all. So I will try to give more information to the people of Telangana by having like wide varieties of ways and all, like to the farmers and all, to the people who to the local people and also to the local channels. And if they reach out to me, yes, they can come for the paid collaborations also regarding the weather updates and all. So I truly welcome it, and I'm not thinking too much on it because I already said that civil engineering is something that I really love it a lot. So I would like to continue it as a passion, and I would like to and also you mentioned like a kind of target of followers. So I don't keep some specific target. Beautiful, because the main motto is that we need to share information to the people. The information has to reach to the people over the last farmer that is being in the Telangana. So that is something that my motto is, and it's not about the followers and all, because followers is something like we get whenever the work that we do defines our followers. So that is what I feel, and I would like to continue it throughout my life at my own capacity. And yeah, coming to the kind of collaborations that you already as a kind of profession, yes, I truly accept it. I truly welcome people who want me to collaborate with myself and share updates to the people, share updates to the farmers, share updates to the communities and all. They can truly reach out to me. I can share weather updates specifically to them based upon the paid collaborations and all. Yes, definitely.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. My team has prepared a this or that. We want to know what do you like, what seasons you like. So I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions, and you pick what you love. So, rain or sunset? Sorry, rain or sunshine?
Rain, definitely.
Favorite cloud type?
Cumulonimbus.
What is that?
It's a kind of vertically developing cloud from the lower level to upper level, which brings lot of thunderstorms, lot of rains and all. It's kind of it brings lot of violent weather. So yes, I love it.
Wow, a weather-related movie or documentary you love?
Vistas.
Oh, most used app on your phone besides weather tools?
Besides weather tool, it's a social media like Instagram, Twitter, and all.
If not yeah, I think we know this. You are a civil engineer. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for coming to our show, sharing immense information. I think I will only have to go 4-5 times and learn the same things. But thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Yeah.